direction. Give me some direction. Able minds are working, open hearts are learning. Give me some direction.
Hi, my name is Audrey. I am currently living in Southern California. I'm originally from the Midwest. Yeah, represent. That's my home. And I've worked with some different healing modalities, and I found one that really brings everything that I've learned together. So right now I share a practice of a pranayama practice that's merged with the South American animal totems and medicine wheel. And I share that both in one-on-one sessions and in group sessions, and travel with it. I work with my teacher and I go to big festivals. I saw some of the stuff you were sharing on social media. It reminded me, breathwork and this practice of pranayama is so powerful. It cleanses the body, the emotions, and the subtle bodies, all the energetic pieces. For me, body talk is a check-in. Body talk is using very specific systems. With breathwork, the breath knows where to go. There's an educated consciousness with body talk. It's looking at the exact systems, like the endocrine system, the skeletal system, specifically at the chakras. Body talk is so many different elements and medicines that are coming together, and it's specific, so I can say like, oh, I'm really struggling with this piece in my work, or I keep coming up against this one specific pattern. And through body talk, there's a direct engagement with what's happening in my physical body. And it's a specific clearing. It's very specific, and it works like immediately. Immediately, things start shifting. So I was having trouble communicating. I was finding that my communication with others was not landing in the way that I intended it to land. So it made total sense to me, and then I'd say it out loud, and the person receiving it would totally go off in another direction. And so I wanted to look at what was going on internally that was creating that externally. I thought I had clarity, but it was creating more confusion in my life. It's hard to see our problems while we're having them. The body talk brings the awareness in, so all of a sudden we can see exactly what we're working with. Specifically with you, I've worked with a couple different practitioners. I've done a body talk training myself. The amount of focus that you have, you bring a gentle, loving awareness that's also cares so deeply. When we care about something deeply, it's a natural movement for us to understand something to its deepest effects. Your caring for humanity and for the healing of communities and individuals and seeing the world be a better place has led you into this path of understanding healing on the deepest levels possible. Body talk, it feels very, very educated. There's a very deep understanding around how everything comes together and how it's working together, like a medical doctor would understand. That creates such a safe container to experience the work and allows, like, I'm also a fellow practitioner. And so for me, there's all these things that I'm aware of, like about the container. So to be able to come to you, another practitioner, and to feel very safe, to relax and to receive this kind of healing, it's special. All of us that are doing this work for other people, we have to go to somebody also to take care of ourselves. I might know that I'm not looking at something in my life, and while I could push myself to do that, it's so nice and to be able to receive, the same way that I'm giving to other people and they're able to receive from me. Your body talk session shifted a lot in the field. Being able to connect in real time through something like Zoom, or is that I can be in the safety and the comfort of my own home. So I don't have to get in the car, go somewhere, and then drive home. I can literally be like working on a project, take a break to have the healing, and then I can actually just continue to rest in my own home. For someone who maybe hasn't experienced, there's the question of, is it the same? And the thing is, like, the way that we look at it in consciousness, we can even be having a memory or thinking of someone we care about, and that feeling can be so incredibly strong, and we haven't even texted them or called them, right? When we're talking about consciousness it's right there.
Instantaneous. Ready to communicate, always.
Yeah, it's the communication is there. The way that you do it is you're walking me through each experience. And so I can actually go into a dream state, which is when we talk about the different brain waves, is the place where major processing happens, like when we go into REM sleep. The way that you specifically do body talk is you're actually walking me through the modalities that my body is requesting. And so I actually get to journey in that space as well and experience, like, if memories come up, I get to be in that dream state and process it real time. And there's something very sweet about that, just knowing that you're healing.
That the awareness in itself, or the act of observing, is shifting things. In that, noticing it, like, awareness is healing.
In body talk, you specifically say it's the observed, the observing, and the observer, right? And that goes into quantum physics. We talk about Nassim Haramein, and that to me is like using intelligence. That's actually accessing intelligence on its highest level and creating like lasting change. When I'm relaxing and you're walking me through the experience and the different pieces that are being connected, I get to be present to those reconnections on a very subtle level. There's a sense of learning. There's a sense of curiosity and almost like childlike wonder around it. So it's almost like being inspired by myself. If I'm being the observer of myself, I'm so inspired by all of the different pieces that are going on. I get to be a part of that. The element of permissions and no agenda. Both of those are crucial and fundamental practices. One of the first thing I always notice after body talk sessions, and especially after yours, is my digestion. Immediately, as soon as you begin the session, I can always feel my digestion activate. Our digestion is a symbolic of our emotions. So one of the things I immediately feel is my digestion start to clear. So immediately I can feel like my small intestine, which is the first part of the intestine, begin to activate and kind of rumble and process whatever has been sitting in there. Even if I haven't eaten yet in the morning, there's still something in there. And I can feel my stomach kind of like, it'll growl a little bit, like, okay, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready to digest, even if I don't have food in there, like, it's like ready to process the emotional side of things.
For someone that's watching and they're asking the question, well, how do you differentiate between your intestines or the stomach moving because you're hungry and in relation to the remote body talk session taking place?
My hunger usually comes at specific times in the day. If I'm laying in a body talk session, there's no food being cooked. I'm not an early morning eater. So to have my stomach all of a sudden activate, I think we did it in the morning, which is 3 hours before I usually have like my first meal. And so to lay down and then to all of a sudden have my stomach like gurgle, like, oh my gosh, I'm about to have the best, warm breakfast.
Of myself.
Of myself, yeah.
So when you notice that your digestive system is preparing itself to digest information or memories or phobias or whatever the body wants to balance or clear, how do you feel in relation to that?
It's twofold for me. It's excited because things are changing. It's like anticipation, I'm feeling those pieces that I've been hitting up against begin to soften. The new possibilities come forward. And as a creative person, as a human on this plane right now, possibilities mean growth, that things maybe weren't as I saw them, or they were, and I'm seeing a new way to engage with them. There's a sense of liberation that's with that. I really value the sense of completeness that comes. For me, it looks like integration. For me, I get scattered. I have different projects going on, and I actually don't even notice how many different places my awareness is. From the surface level, it looks like everything's discombobulated. It's close up, and it's like, how am I supposed to get from here to here? How am I supposed to get from emailing this person about a contract to actually showing up and presenting and being able to look at things from a higher perspective? You get to see how everything is coming together. There's a sense of integration, of completeness for the mind, the body, the spirit with emotions all together. Having a sense of completeness allows me to follow through on the commitments that I've made, to show up with a sense of curiosity and joy, because I'm able to see the bigger picture of what I'm doing it for, to be more organized, to be more playful and creative with the work that I'm doing, and to have less attachment to the outcome. The thing about body talk is that there can be something that I'm looking at repetitively and I'm not seeing a solution to. And people can even tell me the solution. They can tell me, it feels like sometimes I have these loops in my life. And what body talk does is it allows me to experience the solution so that it's no longer something somebody else is telling me, it's coming from me. I'm the type of person who has to learn by experience. Body talk allows me to experience my own solutions so that I can act real time with them. There's a difference between knowing it and having a knowing around something. And so body talk allows me to have that knowing and be able to act from that place very confidently.
I'm learning as you're talking about this, because I'm confident that what we're really talking about is transcending the diagnostic model and allowing the body primary directive over its own healing process, having the say in deciding its own priorities for treatment, which then allows the healing sequence to be that much more accelerated in the deconditioning process. Because as most people have experienced, if we go to a practitioner that has a set protocol of an agenda where they're imposing an agenda onto the body, that healing sequence is going to perhaps take a little bit longer than we prefer. The first destination the body brought us to is an active memory in a car accident that you were in.
In the body talk session, I had this memory. I think you're working like my small intestine. A fear that I have in my life is having nothing to hold on to. It's interesting that was something that came up for me, was about that experience, was having nothing to hold on to. That car accident was one of the worst ones I've ever been in. And having that memory stored, my body can jump to that much quicker than somebody who hasn't been in that kind of accident.
When the body brought us to clear an active memory of a car accident that you were in,
yeah.
How did you feel in that coming to the surface as your body communicating this is a priority to resolve? There's
always a little bit of a surprise, like, because I think of those things are in the past. I think that they don't affect me. So it's always like, really, that? Mm-hmm. And then when you play it back to me and you say what I said, which was not having anything to hold on to, and I realized that's exactly what I was going through in my life. I move frequently. So to look at the fact that I was actually struggling with that, maybe based on an active memory, that I still have, being able to heal that and to find solidarity within myself, not from my thinking mind, but from my consciousness. It's working so creatively, utilizing the information from the left side of the brain, pulling it through the right side of the brain, allowed to have this flexible reality. It's pieces that are already there in my consciousness, and it's seeing them like make friends. Like this, it's not like there's new things in body talk. There's a new way of looking at them. Something that I can talk on is the thymus. So I had this realization, when I feel lack of love, I get it. Like I'll actually get a physical pain right there on my sternum. So I was like, what's up with my thymus, So to have these things come up, like I'm being dismissed, or I'm not being seen, or I'm not able to share, is actually intimacy with myself. I think it was a week or two later, I realized that I actually wasn't being clear in my communication and I was bypassing my needs. This work wants to get out. Body talk is intelligent, and it's asking for intelligence to meet it. It is highly, highly intelligent, and it wants to be handled by highly intelligent hands. There's huge amounts of clarity, emotional resolution, deeper understanding of oneself, permanent physical healing that can come from it.
Something that I noticed about body talk too was the practitioner's role would no longer be to orchestrate the treatment process according to diagnostic opinion, and instead the role would be facilitating, and it'd be to honor and be guided by the body's own healing process.
Yeah, and it's for people who want results and they want to see them within their lifetime, before it's too late. People who want to have their healings be present for their kids, make a better world for the future. And like I said, what's specific about working with you, body talk, is that you're highly educated in it. There's a sense of expertise that you use and confidence. If anyone has any questions, you have the answer, or you know how to access the answer.
It's over there. It's over there.
Yeah. It's like walking into somebody's library.
It's right here. It's right there. You're it.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's safe, you know. So the number one thing we want to have with our healing is to feel safe. And it's fun. There has to be like a little bit of play in it. And I think you really bring that into it. The session is very focused, but you know yourself and you know how to play. So because of that, I can feel that. And I'm like, oh, here's somebody who's healed themselves to an extent that they know how to have fun again. That's what we're all trying to heal, to come back to. It's how to have fun and enjoy this experience. You're looking for solutions in your life, Body Talk can give you those solutions. If you're looking to find wholeness or to discover who you are and to experience different levels of peace and many other things, you come to Breathwork, you come to Body Talk. And for somebody who's experiencing like seizures, specific health ailments, like I suffered from IBS and I got multiple treatments. I no longer have like any IBS problems. Like, it's completely gone. Having a chronic illness and not finding a solution and finding something that works, such a relief. So for people who are considering Body Talk, for physical ailments, for chronic health problems, this works and it lasts. You can come for a couple sessions or whatever your body needs, and you're going to see lasting results depending on where your body's at. And for people who are looking for emotional clarity and for deeper understanding of how to navigate their life in a happy way, Body Talk does that. It allows you to come to your life with your own solutions and really become the author in that way, allowing them to be their own healer and respecting their needs. It is their healing. They know that they need it and they're willing to do the work.